Thank you very much today for giving me such a great opportunity to present my project, recent project here in Porto. I really appreciate. Today I brought 9 or 8 projects that we done or we are now doing since 2010 until today. I will let you know what we are doing these days by using some images. In general, I am an architect based on Tokyo. Sometimes I work alone, or sometimes I work together with Kazuyo Sejima. And today I would like to present the projects with her or done by alone. And in general, I have a few interests on architecture. One of the biggest thing that I'm interested in architecture is I try to create harmony between architecture and nature. And I'm really interested in working on what kind of relation between architecture and the landscape can happen. And this is a first project that I want to show you today, which is a student center project that we did for a university in Lausanne, Switzerland. The program is a kind of mixture, such as library, student office, multipurpose hall, cafe, restaurant, or whatever. The public program come together in a very front part of campus. There are existing campus, which is built, I think, during 70s. And this is really 70s building, like a same thing, repeat from here to there. And then they had an idea to have a new student center in front of the campus, which is here. And we joined the competition and we won this project. And then what we proposed is to make really huge one room, which is 180 meter this way and 100 meter in the other way, to allow everybody to stay together inside the building. So that it's one room, but the inside is a little bit softly divided by these patios. So there are a program here and another program here. They are softly divided by the patio. Another thing is that there is a movement in one room to create a hill and the valley. This geography also gives distance between programs, each other. And at the same time, this movement creates open spaces below architecture on the ground, so that the people this side can go through across the building to reach campus the other side. And another thing that we are trying to create is that the kind of approach this is how to work. Another idea is to give this open space in between inside and outside, so that actually there is no door on facade here. So people first they come here. I mean, there's no door for facade, but there's only one entrance here in the middle of the building, so that people first they go through open spaces under the building to reach to the entrance here. And then they enter here and then they go to programs that they want to go. Idea is that inside and outside have open space between them, so that people feel that when they approach to the building, they feel outside landscape getting gradually inside. We are trying to create a continuing experience between outside and inside. The architecture is made with 2 layers, which is a roof and a slab. They are all going up and going down together and keeping parallel relation. And then this create hill or valley, and the hill again. And then the roof come down to a little bit enclose the valley from the other program. This is the model photo looking from above without the roof. Mainly we have 2 hills and 3 valleys, and then many patios inside. This geography and patios, the softly divide program and the program. For instance, there's a multi-purpose hall at the corner here. This is divided by the mountain going across the corner. But the basic idea is not to use the wall to divide program, but we use patio or geography, so that the people here can go to the cafe beyond the hill, or they also can go up this way to reach to the main entrance hall. By the way, we have entrance hall here and the cafe here, student cafe here. And then this is a restaurant on the roof, on the hilltop, and then library here, and the office here. And then the biggest arch on this project is around 80 meters from here to there, which is almost the same size with the main street on here, on the existing campus side. People walk. This is the open space where people come first, and they go through under the building. And then sometimes architecture come down to the ground like this to have a sub-entrance, so that there's a main entrance here, but people here doesn't have to go up to go up the hill, but they can directly come out and come in. There are many entrances everywhere to allow people to come in and come out. For instance, this is multipurpose hall, and there's a stage here, and we put patio here with the entrance here, so that between the event, the teacher on the stage or audience student on the sitting place, they all directly can go out from here, and then they can come in. From everywhere, people immediately visit out or can come in. And the idea is street here come inside to become ground floor and then second floor. There's no first upper floor, there's no ground floor, there's no second upper floor, there's no division between them. Everything is continuing like landscape. This is entrance hall and the cafe, and there are many ways for people to go up, to go down. This is heavy things go up because of the restaurant on the hill. And this is where students go up and go down. And then this is an electric train for everybody to come up to every floor. Every program is accessible by everybody. And the hill, big hill, divide here and there. Now you don't see what's happening behind the hill, but once you walk up here, you see what's going on the other side of the hill. And standing in the middle of the building, this is really big building, but still standing on the middle of the building, you see campus, you see the lake because of the shape of architecture. Everywhere inside the building, you feel outside, and then you understand which is the lake, which is the campus. You can orient yourself immediately, no matter where you are. And this is a restaurant on the hilltop with the view to the lake. And this is a multi-purpose hall that I talked a little bit before. And then the geography create the theater style for the classroom. This is looking from the main street. This is the main street, and this directly come into the open space under the building, and then you can enter the project. And this is a museum project that I made in a small island in Japan, which is called Teshima. And then this island is really famous with nature and water. And that's why the rice field agriculture developed so much. And then the client of this museum have an idea to build the museum here for only one art project, which is made by a female artist whose name is Miss Naito. Naito-san's idea is to create a fountain on the floor, and then fountain getting big during the day. It's really a contemporary art project. And one of the really special program that I understood is that they don't want to change art project. They want to have same art project forever here. And then this gave me an idea about how architecture and art and nature can stay together. And this is the first sketch that I drew to present my idea. The issue is how a floor become campus for water art project, so that one of the big issue for me to study is how I can create the floor. My idea is to use free shape, free hand curve to define the floor like this. This has some advantage. One of the advantages is that if you don't have to cut the mountain just nearby. If you do the straight wall, you should cut the nature to fit the straight wall. But if you do the nature curve, architecture can change the shape to fit. There's no manipulation on the nature side. I thought this is a really interesting idea to build the architecture in the nature. And then the natural curve also happen on the elevation side, create a large span for one large room. And there's no column, there's no structure, there's no column, there's no wall to support the roof. This structure system is called Shou structure, because the shape look like Shou. And this is made with concrete. And then this is the computer graphic image that I made during the study phase. The construction, we had an idea to use soil for molding of the concrete, so that first we dig the ground to make a foundation, and then we put the soil on the foundation to make a mountain. This become molding for the concrete. On the soil mountain, we did the reinforcement. You see, this is the photo looking architecture from the side. You see the height of architecture really low. This is really as low as possible in the shell structure. And the concrete construction became really big because the shell structure can't divide into several pieces, so that we spend 22 hours to pour the concrete from the left to the right. This is midnight, but still they are working on the middle. And I made a big hole here and there. This is basically to bring daylight inside. But during construction, this hole is used where people come in to dig soil out. The natural curve is shared by architecture and the nature. You don't know which comes first. We try to create harmony between the architecture and the nature. Now, after the concrete became stable, people come inside to dig the soil out to create the space under the shell. And then one of the big issues is that how to enclose this opening. But finally, I decided not to enclose the window to invite the rain coming inside the room, because art fountain appears under the opening. I thought it's really nice idea that nature come in to be integrated together with the art. And I also made a landscape. One of the most biggest ideas is creating the one-way circuit through natures. There's a ticket office here, and then after buying the ticket, they can't immediately come to art. but they must take the way to see the rice field, and then there's a beautiful sea here. They see, and then they come into the woods, and they walk through the wood to come to the project. And I made a really narrow entrance to allow only one person to come in and come out. And inside is really big. So this is a free-form architecture, so that there's no, it's a really naturally very wide space, very narrow space, naturally continuous with the organic shape. And then a big opening give the sunlight and wind and daylight. Sometimes birds come in. This is not really inside, half inside, half outside space. And this is a small house project that I made a few years ago for 2 female business partners. This is the project in really big city. Neighbors is really huge, like 40-meter height. All of them are 40 meters. But unfortunately, this small site didn't face to the big street, so that they can't go up to the 40 meters. When I came to this land, it looks really bottom of the world. There was no direct sunlight here. It's really, to me, didn't look like the site that the people built independent house. But they wanted to have an independent house here. Actually, program is not only house, but also working places. There are 2 business partner people want to live here and work together here. And then I made the idea to stack many floor plates, and each floor plate has a small garden and the room. And then they are stuck to each other, and I made holes on the floor plates to let them continuing together. And this idea, the relation between the room and the patio changes on each floor plate, but all gardens, all rooms is really small. And this house, actually there's no facade. There is a facade. This plantation become facade, but it's not really, how to say, flat facade like this, because it's open. And then as you go up, the program inside and outside changes. And this is ground floor. They have so many things. So density, they have so many books. They want to have a really big kitchen behind the bookshelf. It's a really high density house. I realized density is one of the most important, power on this project. This is one of the reasons why I decided to put so many gardens inside the house to make density more high. This is first upper floor with a small garden and small rooms. You see, this is the street. You see there's a really intimate relation between the street and the garden. But as you go up, garden getting quiet, and then getting private. This garden can be used as a meeting room when they enclose the curtain. This is you can see the relation between the garden and garden upper floor and the street. And this street is really narrow, as you saw. This is only neighbor people walk. It's already really quiet. And then this gradually, this is more quiet. And as you walk up, get the outside garden getting private. And then because of due to the lack of floor area, this is really small house, which is with only 66 square meters or something. I thought nice to have bathroom a little bit away from the main part of the houses, so that people take a walk through garden to reach to bathroom. And then I made a few opening to connect each levels. And this is a top floor with a garden on both sides and the room in between. And this is a really small cafe pavilion project in Shrine, which is here in a small village. And there is a shrine, and this is a shrine garden, and there is a this used to be a school, but now it became art gallery. The program is required is to create a cafe here to connect shrine garden and gymnasium here. So one of my ideas is to make halls here to have a kitchen on this side and then seating place on this side. One of the problems is that it's not easy to build the architecture in the shrine garden because of the religious reason. This is the only one architecture which is allowed to build in the shrine garden, because this is a shrine. One of my ideas is to build the movable architecture with no foundation. So this idea came up with this shape, with bottom of architecture become like how to say, arch, to have a minimum touch to the ground so that people can push them. They can move the position of architecture. When shrine people complain, you can move. This is the idea of the pavilion. And then I made a kitchen on this side. There's no soil construction on this project because let this pavilion move. So this architecture must be really light, so that I invited both industrial people to come to the land to build this, because I thought this shape reminded me of a boat, so that I thought they can build this cheap. This is the connection between the main language is two steel panel, two steel metal sheets, square sheets, meet at the four corner. All the other part is free, so that this corner must be shredded really high, and then the steel plate come down, and they go up like this. But there's no kitchen this side because kitchen is in the gymnasium. And this is a really large floor plate, but people can move. And this is another project, a museum project that I recently made in Karuizawa. Karuizawa is one of the most famous in Japan, famous city as a beautiful nature. And then there was a 4-meter formula height difference between the front road and back road. My idea is to utilize this topography with no manipulation. So this natural topography become floor of the gallery. This is the floor plan. You see how the contour line go across the building. This is natural existing contour. And then the art wall, exhibition wall, is scattered over in the room. And this works also as a structure to support the roof. And then the basic idea is the structure wall has one arc. And then you can walk freely on the topography. So there's no order of the exhibition. And then this collection is growing because this artist now really active. He often make painting. So when collection this museum has more paintings, they built the wall like this. So density getting high depend on his activity. And then from painting to the painting, you can enjoy natures. And then there are so big overhang the roof to regulate sunlight, and even this screen diffuse the light to keep the lux of the daylight almost stay the same. And this is another project, the theater project that I am working in north part of Japan. This city is really famous with historical buildings in the city center. And there was the existing multi-purpose hall here with a really tall fly tower on the stage. And this is the project to rebuild the multi-purpose hall. But one of the problems is that the city people want to have even more higher tower for the theater. They want this existing tower has been 27 meters, but they wanted to have more, up to 33 meters. This is really huge. The issue is that how we can build that high tower in the low-rise town. One of my ideas to build the tower in the middle of the site so that we can have a maximum distance from the street to the tower. We had the tower here, so stage come here, and theater, the seating come here, and the public space wrap around. This is sometimes the school kids use, so that there's when the school concert happen, the front, there's no front, there's no back. They become all equally public space. But sometimes professional people come to do the concert. This ring public space is divided here and here to create the back and the front. And then the idea is that this is really tall part. This is tower. And then each program has their own roof. And then this roof has an angle. So that coming to the side wall, the height of the side wall become really low. You see how the roof, the height of the roof coming down. And by the way, the roof are divided according to the programs. This is a loading dock. This is a rehearsal hall. This is entrance. This is a foyer. Each program has independent roof. And you see how the height getting down towards the street. Here, there's a street. And then we have a maximum 2 stories building around, but this become one stories on the side wall. This is a computer graphic image to tell how this project look like. There's a tall tower here, but you don't see 33 meters huge wall because of the many roofs coming in front. And then this is theater. This is inspired really very much by the Hans Scharoun Berlin Philharmonic Hall. I appreciate to use the vineyard system to hold 1,200 people. Idea is that each vineyard is directly connected by the staircase or slope, so that the people on the higher level, they can directly come down to the stage. It's really, you can feel really one feeling together with the player and audience. This is looking to the seating side. It's not mathematical, it's not machine repetition of the seating. You see the more human, how to say, agricultural repetition in the seating side. And then this is, and then another advantage of the vineyard system is that you can have the acoustic wall in the middle of the seating, so that you can have a really good acoustic situation everywhere. And this is a cafe. This will be entrance hall, and then the staircase bring you up to the upper floor, and then angle of the roof changes depend on the situation, depend on the program. And then this is how it looks like from the city hall side, which is the other side of the street. This is really huge, but you see roof coming down, and you don't see the entire wall of the tower. And then this is a church project that we recently did in a small village, small town in Connecticut state in US. The local people had an idea to build church in this farm. This used to be a farm land, and then people around bought this land to build the church. But recently, nobody go to the church. But they believe that the church works really good because not only for religious, but also people can meet every Sunday. They can see the face. This works as to maintain the community. But now people don't go to church, but still this kind of program can be important to keep community. So that the idea they have is they built church together with the kids program, like kids school, kids classroom, or barbecue court, or basketball gymnasium, or library. So it become kind of community center with the religious program. And then nature is really beautiful. We decided to build each program independently. This is a church, but this is actually multi-purpose hall. They can do concert here, not only religious use, but also they can do a lot of things in this multi-purpose hall. And this is a dining restaurant which is open to public. And this is a library. Finally, this position has been changed. And this is gymnasium. But the idea is each program stand alone to be surrounded by the nature. But all programs are connected by the wooden, connected by the roof. And this is just roof, so that space under roof is almost outside everywhere. So kids, a dog can go through the building. And people, I understood that the church in this area is built with a wooden structure, so that this case, we try to do wood. This is a multi-purpose hall, which is follow the topography, so that you can enter from higher level, you can enter from the lower level. This is really following the landscape. And the roof also follow. It calmly go down to the lower level. This is a library with some meeting room. And this is dining, where people can come. This is a barbecue courtyard. And this is sunshade for the barbecue. And this is a coffee place. People, Sunday morning, people come here first to have coffee. And then they walk up to the hall. This is a gymnasium. This is a little bit sunken in the ground because it's really tall. Here we have a ground. And then this is a gymnasium. People can sit down, the kids from the garden. And this is looking from far. You see how architecture follow the nature. This is, I think, the last project that today I can talk today. This is a second extension of the Louvre in Paris. But this is not built in Paris, but in small town which is called Lens. That's why this museum is called now Louvre Lens, because it's built in Lens, which is a 1 hour train ride far away from Paris. This city was famous with the coal mine industry, but during 80s they closed the industry, and it became the social problem in this town. I understand this is why the French government, Louvre, chose here to be the project site of the Louvre Lens. This is really in the center of the industrial heritage. Like this is a hill. They have been working on this hill, and then this is the brick houses, which is, I think this is also kind of industrial, historical asset. And they also have mountains, they have halls, and this is look like a triangle because of the railway. So this shape and this railway, whole things is kind of a historical asset. So the issue is how we can build huge program, which is around 35,000 square meter or something, without destroying the nature and the historical heritage. One of our ideas is we divide huge programs into several pieces to have a small pavilion like this. And each pavilion is directly located on the ground so that the floor become slope. Because this is the historical hill, which is not flat. If we make it flat, I felt this hill become, how to say, really new. Even if architecture become glazed wall to be transparent, once we make this hill very flat, this become really new and really, how to say, like a new airport has come to the local village. I felt this is not a great idea, so that we decided to keep the existing mountain shape. So that architecture is basically one story on the ground and another one story in the basement. But architecture calmly, naturally follow the topography. So that you always, when you are inside the gallery, you always see the direct connection between inside and outside. And another idea that we proposed is to have a skylight in the gallery. And the art collection that the Louvre people has is really old, like before Christ things, really old. So the art is old, but we have daylight that we have today, so that you feel very natural feeling even in the ancient art pieces. Another idea we made is that to make gallery very long and narrow, to let people feel the topography on the ground. And then the exhibition doesn't happen on the wall, but on the floor. It's like they have, if we exhibit art pieces on the wall, it becomes one line. It's not a great way to exhibit really complex relation of the art in European history. If we do this, we can show the how to say, influential relation between each art pieces beyond the country border. There is the Roman border here, but you don't feel, because the influential relation between artists explode beyond the border. So this relation corresponds to the influential relation between artists. And then these are exhibited along the timeline. So it starts from the before Christ, and then here the BC 0, and then it gets to the French Revolution here. And then this square is invitation to the next room, which is called glass gallery, where people can see the landscape of the lawns. Because it's situated on the hill, you can see the village. And this is how you can see all art pieces together. You see the older thing, you can see the new things. They are all lined up on the history. And then after this time gallery, you finally reach to the glazed gallery to meet the landscape that we have now today. And the garden has many historical heritage like this. This is also another exhibition that you people enjoy outside the garden. So facade is made with aluminum to reflect the history and landscape of the village. And then this wall coming back to the gallery, inside this reflect art pieces and the visitor people walking inside the forest of the art. And then daylight come from above. Of course, you can enclose the skylight, but normally they open up to have a natural daylight in the gallery. And then pavilion, they get connected in a way which look like a zigzag movement. It's go across in a way, they go diagonal way going across the landscape. This position is defined in relation with the industrial heritage. Well, on on every project, we try to create a relation between the landscape and the architecture, or contemporary architecture and the history, which this town has. No matter what the house or museum or school, we want to make architecture together with the landscape. I think this is the last. Thank you very much. Thank you.